My baby and I lived at Springhouse starting from June 2020, and we left the place on July 2021. If it wasn't for this type of associations, I wouldn't have the life that I am having now, because they were there for me in many ways. And I heard someone telling me, you could give back what you have received, but it's not necessary to the same person where you received the help. You can help others. So it meant a lot in terms of support, in terms of having someone always there available 24/7 if I needed to talk to anyone, they were always there. It meant for me the peace of mind of not saying I don't have anything to eat. So having diapers, formula, wipes, food, so those like basic needs that we sometimes we take for granted, or even a bathroom to go to, having that type of associations give us hope to say, I can do it. And I saw it only as a trampoline to get out of the place where we were. And fortunately, I felt that I wasn't alone. They were there. So I was never felt like I was doing something wrong, or I was guilty of whatever I was doing. They always encouraged me to get connected, to find resources, to start to get into the place where I wanted to be. So I felt also encouraged all the time. Now I feel that I am on the other side. I feel that I am so thankful for what I had to pass through, because there's a way for me to enjoy more what I have, to not take things for granted, to always be thankful of every day. Because on that point of time, I felt that I was in the shadows, that I was like with no value, with no, like, I couldn't feel that I was important to anybody, or I was just black. And now I feel that I can become whatever I want to start planning a new life, new objectives. I feel that I am in a different stage where I am privileged to look back and say, I could do it. And if I could do it, I believe many others can, if they really want to. And being on that stage, as mentioned, is like having that feeling that if it hurts, it encouraged me to say, I don't want to be in this stage anymore. And of course, having someone there being your cheerleaders, it helps a lot. I had my little one when, on that point of time, he was a month-old, and I was fleeing an abusive relationship. I didn't have support at that point of time, not any income, not family, because there were also COVID times. So not having a source of income, not support, not connections, and on family around, we ended up living at Springhouse. I had a visitor status, so that was also barrier for me to leave the country because I was married and I had a little one and I couldn't leave the country and I didn't have status at that point of time. I couldn't get a job because I didn't have a work permit. And plus, my baby was 1 month old. I tried at the beginning to go back to my home country, Mexico, and I called the Mexican consulate and they heard how I was. So they kind of knew that I was in maybe a difficult situation, and of course I was not safe. So they gave me the information. It was scary because I didn't know. I was pretty new on that point of time in Canada overall, so I didn't know what to expect. I was indeed very scared. I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't leave the country because I was threatened to be accused of child abduction if I leave the country. So I had to stay here and then started finding some associations was the way for me to start seeing the light. The very first day I arrived in there, it was in the afternoon. Rosa called me and said, you know what? Patricia helped me and she found a spot. There's a room available. You and your baby can go there. And then as soon as we arrived, I met Patricia and she speaks Spanish as well. So I felt like a more warm environment. And the very first thing she told me was, you're safe. And that was exactly the message that I was expecting to hear. Because at that point of time, nothing else would matter. No money, nothing, just safety. I felt that there was hope. It was like a family, because I remember waking up with my little one just next to me at the same bed. And we went downstairs to have some breakfast. It was ready. It was amazing that we had cooks so they could cook for us and everything was ready. And also it was a little one, so they were like nicer with us, because they were like getting food for us, for my little one. And we had breakfast, we interact with the other residents of the house. We always like had a very good atmosphere, chatting to the other residents, to the members of the staff. And of course, like all the support that I needed to have if I had questions about resources, about interpretation of documentation that I was receiving. I always like felt with the sense of having the support of all the members of the staff if I ever had any questions or I just needed to vent what I was passing through. They were always there. The members of the team, they were all different. So they had like different, I will say, resources. And with some of them, I felt like more confident to talk about what was going on. Some others were more helpful in terms of family law. Some others were more helpful in terms of immigration. And other ones were more helpful in terms of housing. Definitely thanks Springhouse for what they did. If that wasn't for them, I don't know what could have been for us. I just don't know. I don't even want to imagine where would it be. Having just a 1 month old, and as mentioned, with no connections, no immigration status, no family, no job, and recovering for a C-section, they were there. And also the cooks. The cooks were amazing. They were cooking the most amazing chicken soup for our souls. They were amazing. I have nothing but good things to say about all the members of the staff.